What is up, you guys? Lawson here, and today, if you can tell, doing something entirely different, and that might shock you guys, that I've never done before. And we are fishing at a big spillway here. It's like 1 in the afternoon, obviously not an ideal time, but it's when I could get out. But I've really never fished a spillway before. I fished it one time when I was like 12 years old with my dad, and other than that, I've never spillwayed fished before. So this is gonna be an entire like learning process for me. We're gonna rig up. I brought a heavy bait caster to throw bigger swim baits and jigs, and the spinning rod to throw like jerk baits and flukes and stuff like that. And we're gonna see if we can find some big fish. You know, I was kind of nervous about coming to do this because I've never done it before. And when I walked up, got on top of this bridge here, I looked down and I saw like a 40-inch snook just cruising around. So it made me feel a little bit better. But we're gonna rig up and see if we can get on some fish. All right, if this isn't insane enough for you, let me show you what we're gonna start out throwing today. This right here is like a 5.5-inch bluegill swim bait. And I know that seems weird for some of you guys who may not know. I'm fishing for snook right now, you know, a saltwater fish with a giant bluegill. What these fish are doing around these spillways is, right now it's not open, so it's not as great, but when they open up, basically bluegill and bass and all types of freshwater fish get dumped into the salt water, and these snook are coming up here to eat them. Like, they'll crush giant tilapia, giant bluegills. You've probably even seen this video, a viral video of a bass being attacked by like a 40-inch snook. Like, they don't mess around, man. They're trying to eat some big meals, and that's why they're all the way up in here. It's interesting, I'm getting a ton of little jacks following this bluegill swim bait around. They're like little jacks, so they're trying to hit it. That at least makes me feel like, all right, this thing might actually work if even like the little fish are trying to be mean and peck at it. Like, there's a bunch of moonfish and a little baby jack crevalle chasing it around. Bunch of little jacks going off on some minnows down there. There's a lot of little fish eating right now, but nothing big has quite happened. Like, there's like little jack and some smaller snook kind of feeding everywhere. Ooh, a snook just came out from underneath the... That's cool. About like a 25-inch snook just came out from underneath that mangrove branch right there and looked at my swim bait. He didn't hit it or anything, but came out and looked at it. Put down the big giant bait for a little bit and just see maybe if I can whack something on like a jerk bait or something a little bit smaller, and then we'll focus on seeing if we can actually catch a giant slob on a swim bait. And move to more of a middle ground here. Gonna throw a little bait buster and work this around. This, at least, you know, a 40-inch snook might eat it. I've caught 40-inch snook on a bait buster, but also a 20-inch snook can eat it. So it'll give us a little more in between opposed to throwing a 6-inch bluegill swim bait. One thing I don't know about fishing spillways, because I've never really done it before. One, without being said, I'm aware that the water needs to be running, and that's when it's going to be better. But I don't know if it's one of those things where if you fish it for 30 minutes and you don't catch any fish, that means it's just not on, or if it's like you just got to sit there and you got to grind your life out until you find a fish. So if you know, let a guy know. Gar right here. Okay, there he goes. Well, we hooked a fish. And an ever-growing attempt to figure anything out, I have hopped along a canal along the side of a road here. And let's see if I can just catch some bass real quick, and then we might go hit another spillway. But I just wanted to, like, you know, maybe catch a fish and not feel so terrible about myself. And it's just been, it's kind of crummy day out anyhow. But I figured it'd be fun to stop by, see if some bass are chewing, and then we'll continue on our way on a spillway mission, as long as the weather holds up. You can tell it's pretty freaking nasty out. Oh, there's a fish. Nice. What we got? No, decent bass. He freaking crushed that too. Oh, come on, baby. This is something I have been wanting to do a lot more of, is bass fish. Like even wrote down, as cheesy it sounds, I made a goal of like bass fish at least once a month, because this time of year is the best time to catch fat bass in Florida. Boom, there we go. Probably just like a pound and a half, close to 2 pound largemouth right there. You know, this isn't what I originally set out in mind today, but sometimes you gotta roll with the punches and go wherever you can to catch fish. It's beautiful. I'm surprised how pretty this fish is for living in a little rat canal in the middle of the city. I think that is one of the most underappreciated things about living in Florida that I love, is that I can go from fishing saltwater for snook and literally turn around and fish for bass in the same exact location. I mean, you just have an accessibility to everything. And I really don't think it's appreciated as much as it should be, where there's not many places in the world where in the same day you have the opportunity to catch, you know, you could catch a 7 or 8 pound bass in a canal like this in Florida and also catch a 40-inch snook from a spillway all on the same day. I obviously haven't done that today, but it is, ooh, I just got hit again right there. It is a real possibility of something you can do in Florida, and I'm sure you guys have. It felt good to remember what it feels like to get bit by a fish, at least. All I'm doing right now, the tactic, is I'm actually just burning a swim bait down this canal, and it's just a little, it's called a voodoo mullet. And when I'm fishing a canal like this growing up, all I used to do is either burn a weedless swim bait or something like this that has a small treble hook on it, or fish a worm. That was kind of like my go-to. And fishing a worm, I almost reserved that for, oh man, the bite's really tough and I need to just fish really slow and really get these fish to bite and drag a bait in front of their head. And then a swim bait is like, I think they should be biting decently, and we're just gonna work it out and see if we can find them. And I just base whatever swim bait I'm throwing on based on how much grass is in the canal. So this one, there is a decent amount of grass, but it's not super tall. And so I'm getting away with throwing something with treble hooks. Now, if I was fishing a canal, and if you guys are fishing a canal and it's just like choked out with grass, throw a weedless swim bait, so a wide gap hook, and put like a, I just got hit right there, any type of weedless swim bait on, and just burn it right over or through the grass. And if you're trying that and it feels like, okay, I'm not really getting the bites I think I should be, slow it down, try a worm, try a creature bait, and drag something slowly through the grass. But I'll tell you what, in my opinion, it's a lot more fun when you're just cranking a bait quickly like this right over the grass, and a bass shoots out and slams it. But to each his own. I know a lot of guys who prefer the thump of like a jig or a worm over having a swim bait get crunched. But that is the tactic, all we're doing. We're gonna fish like this canal for maybe 15, 20 more minutes, and we're gonna hop out, drive to a spillway for last light, and see maybe we can get that redemption on that snook or something in the salt water. Okay, we're gonna make a run to the next spillway super quick. It's about 5:20 right now, have about 40, 50 minutes of light left. So we gotta get moving. All right, we are all over the place today. I threw a few casts at the next spillway, but there's already a guy down there fishing there, and I'm not gonna be a punk and crowd this dude who's just chilling, relaxing, sitting down there. So we're gonna walk over to the freshwater side of the spillway. What's crazy is the canal you just saw me fishing a little bit ago, I drove like 5-10 minutes, but this canal connects to where I just caught that bass. And the only thing that's separating these bass from Mondo snook is a spillway right there. So let's see if we can catch maybe one more bass before the night's over and scram. Ooh. What's crazy too, all this fresh water, if that spillway wasn't there, the snook and tarpon and redfish would have no problem swimming up in here and surviving in the fresh water. If they could get in here, they could, and they'd be up in here munching on stuff. And there's a lot of areas in Florida where saltwater rivers connect to a freshwater area, and you can catch, 40-inch snook and a 5-pound bass in the same exact little river system or pond. back at the house. Man, I am honestly like physically drained from today. It was tough, and I really drove all over the place. I was trying to catch fish. Normally I wouldn't even post a video like this. In the last video I posted though, I asked you guys, you know, do you want me just to post my fishing adventures, whether I would consider them successful or not? And overwhelmingly everybody was just like, yes, even if it's a bad day, go and post it, because that's the reality of being a real fisherman, not just like a phony Instagram fisherman or a phony YouTube fisherman, is that some days fishing sucks, dude. Like, it is tough. And I've learned a few things over the past few weeks. Is one, I do not know nearly as much as I thought I did about saltwater fishing in general, but a lot of land-based fishing. It's been a whole new learning curve for me, and it's got me super fired up, but it definitely has been a lot of learning for me, doing different things from shore, not having access to a boat at the moment. But I also have some update news about that you guys are probably really going to enjoy. Over the past 7 days, I have fished 7 times, and I've been able to make 2 videos, including today, out of them. It's been tough in Florida, and I don't know if I'm in a slump or if it has to do with how much the weather has been fluctuating a lot. You know, yesterday I went out and tried to film, and it was blowing 30 miles per hour, and the temperature dropped 20 degrees while I was fishing, and I was standing underneath a bridge like shivering to the bone, and finally got in my car. I was like, I can't take it, I gotta go home. It's been tough, but we're grinding through it. And what's cool is I feel like this is going to be a huge learning experience for me in the best way possible, that's really going to round me out more as an angler. And what's so fun is coming alongside you guys who do a lot of this and probably know a little bit more than I do about wade fishing and beach fishing, fishing from bridges, spillway stuff. And so it's all different stuff that I really want to learn, and I appreciate you guys coming alongside me and helping me learn these things. Like I said earlier, normally I wouldn't even post a video like today, but I feel like it's important to document the good days and the bad days and have a little balance of both of them. And it was definitely a learning experience, and something unique about today was it was my first time ever fishing a spillway, and that's something I couldn't replicate again. And I wouldn't want to make another video lying about, hey, this is my first time ever fishing a spillway. I fished it, I wasn't successful, so I went and caught some bass and kind of flipped things around. And like I mentioned in the video, but that's just what's so awesome about Florida, is that in 2 seconds I could be fishing a saltwater spillway, and just on the other side of it is freshwater, where there's going to be largemouth bass and gar, and then to the left of it, oh look, there's a 40-inch snook, there's tarpon rolling around over here. It's just not many places in the world like it, and I feel like it kind of gets taken for granted, or I don't even think about it that much because I have lived in Florida my whole life. Well, I know things have definitely been tough over the past few weeks fishing wise for me, and I think, one, it seems you guys have enjoyed the videos because I've been doing just completely different things over the past 2 months that I really have never done in this channel. And from the viewership and the response from you guys, it seems to be really enjoyed, and we're gonna keep trending with that. I do have some update news coming in about a new boat, so definitely be looking forward to that, and it's gonna be a solution to get us back on the water for the time being, and I think it's gonna be really, really epic. So just, I don't want to spoil it, but look forward to that. We are gonna be getting back on the water soon and chasing down big snook and big jack and all that stuff. And I appreciate you guys for sticking with me through the good, the bad, and the ugly. So some days it is incredible and we get to go out and just crush big snook and big jack and hook into tarpon and sight cast redfish. Then some days it is a piss grind of throwing and throwing and throwing and being like so grateful just to catch a 2-pound bass at the end of the day. But that's the reality of fishing, and you guys know that. Sometimes that's just how life is. Well, that is it for today's video. I appreciate you guys. It is 10:30 right now, and I gotta finish editing this video, go to sleep, wake up at 5, and go try to catch some more fish. I appreciate the heck out of you guys. Until next time.